if the laser printer and the Mac and desktop publishing democratized the tools of creation, the web democratized the tools of distribution. So that's changed the world. That's created the modern web, simply taking publishing and broadcasting and all the other media and turning it into something anybody could do. What you're looking at right here is a 3D printer. It's a very old 3D printer that my children use to make dollhouse furniture. And today it looks more like this, the Replicator 2, which is their most recent one. And so now we have the third industrial revolution, which is just the combination of the first two. It combines the mechanical with the digital. It's digital manufacturing. You can create almost anything, any shape. Complexity is free. You download design files from the internet and off they go. And my children, as I say, download dollhouse furniture designs from the internet and make toys. Why not? But that's not manufacturing. This is not going to compete with the toy industry of the world. It may compete with my children. They're not going to buy from Walmart anymore. They're going to make their own, but it's only going to create one of something. And as you'll see, it's pretty slow. How does this become an industrial revolution? And the answer is, in the same way that we needed the web to democratize distribution, we need what's called cloud manufacturing to get you from one to many, from prototype to mass production. And the necessary second step has now arrived, which is the world's factories they're also digital. And this means that for the first time in history, everybody has access to factories. We've seen this picture before. We've seen what happens when we create a new innovation model that's open and community and collaborative and mass amateurism and bottoms up. It's called the web. Changed the world. That innovation model's been limited to bits, to digital stuff, information, content on screens. 10,000 is like this really interesting number. 10,000 is too big for a person and too small for mass production. There's all sorts of products out there that want to be made in 10,000s that aren't being made today because the 20th century manufacturing model doesn't have room for it. I'm wearing a Pebble smartwatch on my arm. How many people here have heard of the Pebble smartwatch? Good. Okay, Kickstarter project, most successful in history, $10 million. On the same day the Pebble smartwatch was released on Kickstarter, Sony released their smartwatch. How many people have heard of the Sony Smartwatch? 2. All right, that's the most I've ever encountered in any audience. The 4 kids in Palo Alto put it on Kickstarter, kicked Sony's ass, right? That's really interesting. When you see that, you start to feel like, oh, I've seen this picture before. That's like the web, right? That's when amateurs can compete with professionals, when startups can compete with some of the biggest companies in the world. They don't have print, they have make. And when you press that button on a free software, it walks you through this wizard, which sort of says, what would you like to make? Do you want to do it in 2D or 3D? What kind of materials? Do you want to do it locally on your desktop or send it to a service? If you're sending it to a service, like Shapeways, to be made in titanium or stainless steel, here's some ways to minimize the materials to lower the cost. And these tools are getting better and better and better at taking all those skills and expertise that were once the sole domain of manufacturing companies and turning them into a software wizard. That's like when publish turned into a button in the browser and it changed the world. Now manufacture is turning into a button in the browser. And we saw what happened to media and content and culture when regular people could press that button. Now we're going to see what happens to physical stuff. 10 years ago, the motto was rip, mix, burn. Changed the music industry. The idea that regular people were empowered to take commercial products and make them their own. Now Autodesk's slogan and others in this space is rip, mod, make. What does it mean to rip reality? And the answer is reality capture, 3D scanning, 1, 2, 3D catch. It's free from Autodesk, and it'll turn your phone into a 3D scanner, and you just go, as you see up here in the picture, you go around an object with a camera, click, those pictures get uploaded to the cloud, turn into a polygonal mesh. You can then download the mesh, put in your other free software, 1, 2, 3D Design, and there's others, some of them web-based. You can then change it any way you want and set it to the 3D printers I'm doing now and create a Pez dispenser of your head or anything else. But the point is, you have a device in your pocket that can photocopy reality, can photocopy things. You can now make copies of stuff, anything, at least the exterior shape of it, for free using a device that's already in your pocket. And that's just the beginning. So that's, I think, ultimately going to end up in an industrial revolution. You saw the personal computer, you saw the web. This is bigger yet. It's democratizing the tools of the biggest industry in the world. That culture of collaboration now brought to atoms, to making physical stuff. And manufacturing is one of the biggest industries in the world. If you thought the web was great, you're going to love the maker movement.